Hi folks, welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to be talking about some Baofeng radios which seem to be causing a lot of confusion on the internet. And the model in particular that I'm going to be talking about is the UV17. The confusion seems to be arising over the different models and different versions of this radio. And as you can see from the photograph here, I've got 1, 2, 3 UV17s, and also we have this one which is a BF-18H, and I explain the reason why I have that one later on in the video. But to look at them, these three radios look identical. I have them all in the same colour. They're all three of them are UV17s, but they are three different models. And it can be quite confusing for people when they go to purchase these radios on the internet, which version they're buying, which version they're ordering, and which version they'll actually get. So, I mean, to look at them, I mean, round and round and round we go. Which Baofeng you've got? Well, nobody knows. Actually, the only way to find out which version you've got is to turn the radio on, because there are very significant differences in the screen on each radio. Now, if I turn this one on,
Welcome, channel mode.
You will see that what we have there is a Chinese voice and a screen which has a plain blue background. Now, this indicates that this particular radio is a Baofeng
15
UV17 version 1. Now, if we turn this one on,
Welcome, channel mode.
what we see here now is we're presented with a different screen. It has a larger font, it has a black background, and although the voice is similar, it is definitely different screen-wise. And that's the easiest way to tell the difference between the version 1 UV17 and the version 2 UV17. So the version 1 UV17
Welcome, channel mode.
has the plain blue screen, and the version 2
Welcome, channel mode.
has the black screen with the white lettering. The keyboard layout on them is identical. They have shortcuts on the keyboard, as you see. And although they have similar looks, they're actually quite different, because the version 1 is a dual band radio and the version 2 is a tri-band radio. The version 2 covers 136 to 174, 200 to 260 and 400 to 520 megahertz, whereas the version 1 just covers your 2 meters 70 centimeter bands. So already we have two significant differences between these two radios. Now, if you're still with me at this point and haven't been totally confused, just to bring another UV17 into the picture, what we have here is the UV17 Pro GPS. Now this is an interesting radio because when you turn it on, as you can see, there is a very different screen on this one. We have a full color screen on it with the large fonts on it, and the voice is different. What we get is what I would call the Barry White voice, the channel mode. I'll just have to do that again for effect because I love it.
Channel mode.
There you go, Barry. Yeah, I love that one. And as we can see, it has, again, it's a very different radio to the version 1 and the version 2. This is the UV17 Pro GPS. And as we can see, not only is the menu different, but also, if you look carefully, the actual keys are different because it has an alphanumeric keypad layout, whereas the version 1 and the version 2 have shortcuts on the keypad. So again, subtle differences between the three models. Now, the version, the UV17 Pro GPS is a quad band radio. Now it covers not only the 3 bands that the version 2 covers, but it has an extra band. It has 108 to 174, which is covers the air band. So this radio has air band capability built into it, whereas the version 1 and the version 2 have no air band capability. The UV17 Pro GPS has air band capability. As if we weren't confused enough as it is, I'll bring in the 4th radio here, which is the Baofeng BF-18H. And this radio, despite looking different to the UV17 Pro GPS, is virtually identical in every way to the UV17 Pro GPS, except that the BF-18H doesn't have GPS in it. But what it does have is exactly the same menu system with
Channel mode.
again the Barry White voice, and as we go into the menu,
Frequency mode.
if I can get into the, there we go, it has the same menu system as the 17 Pro GPS. There we are, same type of menu system. So these two radios here, the BF-18H and the UV17 Pro GPS, are virtually identical despite looking different. They are virtually identical in that they cover the same bands, they have the same menu system, the same voice on them, and they even use the same programming software, which is something else that I'm going to get into here, because none of these radios are presently supported by the Chirp programming software, which means that you have to find CPS programming software for them if you want to program them via the computer instead of the keyboard. So it gets quite confusing. As I said, these two, the BF-18H and the UV17 Pro GPS, both use the same programming software. Now, where can we get this software if it's not provided by Baofeng as such, and it's certainly not supported by Chirp? Now, the only place I could get software for these radios was on a website called Miklor, M-I-K-L-O-R. If you type Miklor into Google, it will take you to his website, and on his website, he will have the software which will work with all these radios. Now, the BF-18H and the UV17 Pro GPS use the same software, as I have said, and the software that they use is the version 1.2.4. So these two use that version of the software. This radio, which is the UV17 version 2, will not work with that software that these two use. And the software you require for the UV17 version 2 is called T6 UV version 1.1.8. And that is the software that will work with the UV17 version 2. And just to confuse you even more, the software that works on that one will not work on the original UV17 version 1. You need another different software to work with the UV17 version 1, and the version of the software you need for the UV17 version 1 is P15 UV version 1.04. So it's extremely confusing. As I say, none of the radios are supported by chirp. These two, the BF-18H and the UV17 Pro GPS, use the same version of the software, version 1.2.4. This one, the version 2 UV17, uses T6 UV version 1.1.8, and the original version 1 uses the version 1.04 software. So it's all mighty confusing, I know, and if you really buy one of these without knowing which version you're buying, it can be terribly confusing. But as I say, the main way to identify these radios is actually by turning them on and looking at the menu, because that rapidly identifies which version of the radio you have. And if you're buying one online, look at the screen in the picture of the radio that you're buying, because the UV17 version 1 will have this screen.
Welcome. Channel mode.
Plain blue background, Chinese lady voice. The version 2 will have this screen.
Welcome. Channel mode.
Black screen with white font, Chinese lady voice again. The Baofeng UV17 Pro GPS will have this screen and this voice.
Channel mode.
So we get the full colour screen with the large font again, and the old Barry White voice, as I call it, which is identical to the Baofeng BF-18H.
Frequency mode.
Again, we get the full colour screen with the large font, the Barry White voice. So just to reiterate, the BF-18H and the UV17 Pro GPS are identical, except that the UV17 Pro GPS has GPS capability built into it, which the BF-18H does not have. Otherwise, they're quad band, they have air band, they both have air band built into them. The menu system is the same, as you see. Oh, turn it on.
Channel mode.
Whereas the version 2 UV17,
Welcome. Channel mode.
different screen, black screen, white font, different menu system,
Menu. Squelch.
and the version 1, again,
Welcome. Channel mode.
different screen, and
Menu.
another different menu system. So there we have it. 3 UV17s all have the UV17 moniker at the start of their name, but are 3 very different models. Baofeng UV17 Pro GPS, quad band, air band. Baofeng UV17 version 2 tri-band radio, no air band, different screen, different menu system, different programming software. Version 1 dual band, different screen, different menu system, and different programming software. So all very confusing, but as I say, when you go and decide which one of these UV17 models that you want, the easiest way to identify them, as I have said, is by either looking at the pictures of the radio that you're going to buy online, and if they display this screen,
Welcome. Channel mode.
you've got the Baofeng UV17 version 1. If they display this screen,
Welcome. Channel mode.
you have got the Baofeng UV17 version 2. And if you turn it on and you get this screen,
Channel mode.
you have the Baofeng UV17 Pro GPS, which is identical to the Baofeng BF-18H, except that the 18H doesn't have built-in GPS. I hope that has cleared matters up a bit for people. I know it's terribly confusing, but I get even confused myself, especially when the radios are all the same colour. And the only way I can quickly identify them is actually to turn them on and see which screen comes up and presents itself. So 3 models with the same name, UV17s, but they're all different versions. And each one of these UV17s requires different programming software. They will not work with the same programming software. The only place you can get the software for these I know of is on the Miklor website, Miklor. Type that into Google, go to his site and download the versions that I have mentioned. As I say, version 1 requires version 1.04, the P15UV version 1.04 software. The version 2 requires T6UV version 1.1.8. The UV17 Pro GPS requires version 1.2.4. And the Baofeng BF-18H uses the same software. It will work with the same software as the UV17 Pro GPS. So there you are, folks. As I say, I hope that didn't baffle everybody too much. I thought I would just put it up there because there seems to be a lot of confusion out there on the internet at the minute about these radios. I own them all, and I'm very pleased with them. Excellent performing radios. They're really well built. They're definitely an improvement over the old UV5R. Really nice little radios. But as I say, there is a lot of confusion about the different models there and the different software. So I hope that has helped with anybody who has currently been confused and baffled by this, as I was. I was doing a lot of head scratching, trying to find the correct software for each radio and to even identify which model was which. So I hope that's helped clear things up, and if you like that, please give me a like and subscribe to the channel if you want. So thanks again, folks, and thank you very much for watching.